And welcome back to Banjo Tooie on the Nintendo 64. I am one more sheep yet again, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to enter a bit of a first-person shooting sequence. The second one of the game, and also probably the first one where you may have a bit of trouble with in terms of completing. And trust me, every first-person shooter sequence throughout the course of this game, past this point, may be a bit tedious. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because of well, they're all very much maze-like situations where you need to go through the maze, find all the things within a time limit, and some people may not be too fond of that. And honestly, I'm not too fond of it myself. It really bugs me doing these missions, honestly. I mean, it's not too bad, but you know, your first time playing through this game, you're gonna go through these first-person shooter missions, and you know, you're gonna find yourself having a wee bit of trouble. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? What can I tell you? Indeed, yes. But anyway, as you saw just before we entered this place, we did gain access to a brand new power-up, the Beak Bayonet, and we do actually need to make use of that during this this maze, in order to destroy all of these TNTs that are hopping and booping about the place, all happy-like. Basically, boop them, you'll sneeze on them, and bada bing, bada boom. And you do need to use this brand new ability to take these things out. If you try to shoot the TNTs, the entire place will go up in smoke. Everything will explode and it'll be an automatic mission failure. So don't shoot the TNTs, for Christ's sake. Go out of your way, try and find them, and sneeze on them like so. Bada bing, bada boom. And I know it's not meant to be a sneeze, but the way the animation works and the way that Kazooie does his sound effect whenever you use that attack, it looks like a sneeze, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But one thing I will say, despite the fact this place is really maze-like, I do love the music. It's just, it's so stressful your first time going through these stages. Like, even today I can get turned around. And even today I can lose track of where I am and where all the TNTs are. So, you know, you will find yourself getting lost. I can guarantee this. I can guarantee you this. At some point in this level, you will get lost. But, once you get a general idea of the layout, you shouldn't be too much trouble. And what I sort of tend to do is I tend to take the outside areas out first, and I go in a counterclockwise motion throughout the rooms. And that generally is what gets me through almost all these levels without too much trouble. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? But one thing you can use to help you during your quest by here is play the stage with earphones on, actually. Put your earphones on the TV, because when you have earphones on, it's very easy to hear them bouncing about. And when you hear these things bouncing about, well, you can use that to sort of give yourself a general idea on which direction you should go next. So, you know, using your ears, that's my major bit of advice for the stage, because if you use your ears, you know, the game's generously enough to say, boing, 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 I'm over here, stupid! So you know where to go. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? What can I tell you? Indeed. And I think they do try to color code some of the areas as well in this maze, but it can be quite a bit of a pain in the arse in order to still figure out all the landmarks and stuff, because a lot of the walls look exactly the same. The only real differences are the color scheme. So what I sort of recommend is you can probably just get a map online and just keep looking at the map, or keep a mental map of the place up in your head, which is the way I did things. Which obviously you can't do your first time around, so just get a map up online or something for this place, and trust me, it'll make your life a hell of a lot easier. It's a pain in the ass. You know, I love these first-person shooter sequences, but I really wish they weren't so maze-like. You know, I wish they were more traditional, get to the end or do the objective, not so much collect all the MacGuffins in a maze within a time limit. That's a big fall apart of, you know, that's the big thing that ruins these first-person shooters, in my opinion, you know. First-person shooter sequences, even. So that's a bit of a shame, but, yeah, finding a way out also can be a bit of a pain in the ass. I'm actually showing you the way out here, but what I sort of actually recommend when you play the game yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, is not run out. Just kill yourself. Seriously, if you kill yourself, you'll respawn right by here, and, you'll gain, basically, it'll cut out a hell of a lot of backtracking time, you know, so I was an idiot. Don't follow my example, just kill yourself, ladies and gentlemen. It's surprising how often I can actually give that piece of advice in Banjo Tooie, because, in Banjo Tooie, if you know how the checkpoint system works, if you know when checkpoints become available to you, and you can basically use killing yourself as a massive speedrun tactic. I probably mentioned this previously in the LP before, but it's just so effective to just kill yourself and then spawn in where you think you're going to spawn, and then you can basically skip a hell of a lot of backtracking, a hell of a lot of groundwork just by doing that. Unfortunately, you can't skip this groundwork by year, but yeah, that's beside the point. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? What can I tell you? Indeed, yes. But anyway, we're going to move on over to Mumblebee here because of, well, we actually do need to make use of Mumbo Jumbo in the stage in order to, well, basically to do two things. And one thing I've kind of noticed about Mumbo is he generally has one type of spell for each world. Like, in this world, for example, we're going to grab Mumble and he's going to have the levitate spell. He's going to lift things up and put things rightfully where they belong. But later on in the game, you'll find Mumble only really does one thing per world, one type of spell. And some, obviously he gets more than one spell panel every world, but it's kind of weird how there's only one type of spell he does. Maybe they did that to stop it being confusing, or I don't know. That just strikes me as a bit odd. That's just my professional opinion. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? Yes. But now, guys, we're gonna move on to the train station, I do believe, because we do actually need to lift up the train station. We haven't seen the train station yet, but trust me, ladies and gentlemen, you need to do this. This isn't an optional part of the game. You do need to get Mumbo, and you do need to lift this train up off the ground, because, well, let's just say we're going to be using this train quite a large number of times during the course of the playthrough. Let's just say that. And also, there's a cheeky little honeycomb piece there. For the longest time, that one honeycomb piece just eluded me. Like, I'm on about when I say for the longest time, I'm on about my first playthrough, and that's largely because, well, I played this back in the day on a very old CRT TV that was terrible. It had a very bad picture. It was very dark, shall we say. So I can see bugger all in this room. But, nowadays with my fancy smancy HD TV and upscalers, I can see what's going on here. Fine and dandy. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? But yeah, we do need to lift this train up. I'll talk more about the train a bit later down the line, but trust me, that's something that's going to be basically utilized for the grand majority of the game. We're going to be using that train a lot. There's a lot of puzzles later on that involve that train, including one world that we can't even enter without actually using a train, ladies and gentlemen. So, trust me, it's an important one to pick up, and if you miss out on it, well, that's no good. What can I tell ya? What can I tell ya? Indeed. Oh, Pim. Oh, that looked painful. Oh, Jesus Christ. But before we are done with Mumbo, we do actually have one more thing to do with him, and it's during an area of the... I don't think we properly explored this area of Glittergun's Mine yet, but we need to head over to the crushing shed all the way on the other side, because, well, the crushing shed has a gigantic rock, and that gigantic rock houses a fantastic Jiggy for us to collect, and we basically need to go over here and, well, shred this rock to smithereens using Mumbo's levitate ability. Here we are. So, yeah, be sure to do this. This is a very easy one to, what's the word I'm thinking of? This is a very easy one to miss out on. So, you do want to come across here. Although, I kind of recommend coming across here maybe as Banjo Tooie as you're initially exploring the world, because there is a warp pad there and you can sort of speed things up, I suppose, if you're doing your basic exploring, then bring Mumbo over here. But, that's entirely up to you. I'm not going to tell you how to play the game. It's up to you to play the game. I played it this specific way because it was easiest to me at the time. God, this animation's taking a hell of a long time. Oh, Jesus. But yeah, we do need to bring Mumbo over here, and just be sure to activate that warp pad so we can basically get back very quickly. So, yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting about the Crushing Shed Jiggy Bear here that we need to do is whenever we are dealing with the Crushing Shed, well, basically, The Jiggy itself isn't a whole Jiggy. We actually get it split up into multiple pieces, and it's quite unique in that regard. It's the only Jiggy in the game that you don't actually pick up in a single whole chunk. And you'll see that in a bit. I'll talk about that when I get the chance to. But first things first, we're not going over there. Because, I don't know why, actually. I decided to do this first. We're going to head on over to the waterways of Glitter Gulch Mine, ladies and gentlemen. So basically, go right back to the world entrance and exit and pick up the speed shoes and hit the button, which will open up this over here gate. Now, one thing that's interesting about the speed up shoes is the fact you can run on water, and I don't think you could do this in Banjo Kazooie, or if you did, the game never really told you to make use of this, but yeah, you can run on water, ladies and gentlemen. You're fast enough to do so, so just run and skip across the water and get to that gate within the time limit. If the time limit runs out, well, obviously you need to press the button again, you know. No, it's a bit of a minor nuisance, but it's a thing that exists nonetheless. What can I tell ya? But anyway, welcome to the Waterfall Cavern, and that's a nice easy Jiggy, just sort of just sitting there. I always appreciate when the Jiggies are just sort of sitting there and you grab them from exploring. I don't know, it's always a nice surprise when you go into a room and suddenly it's just a random Jiggy sitting there, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, don't forget to pick that up. I have done playthroughs before when I haven't picked that up. I just sort of walked straight past it like, kid, get it later. And I regretted those playthroughs, let's just say that much. But these here flooded caverns that we're going through, they're terrifying. Well, I should say they were terrifying to me as a kid. Because it's very easy to navigate these things, but you know, you can easily find yourself getting flustered and not knowing where to go. And of course, obviously, if your air runs out, you're gonna drown underwater, you know, ladies and gentlemen. So I've always found this area really terrifying, and I've never liked it. Like, I don't mind it now, but back in the day. But boop and boop. And also the lighting effect on that Jiggy for some reason always impressed me. Like, one thing that's always impressive about Banjo Tooie and still holds up today is the lighting effects. Like, this game has some bloody advanced lighting for the N64. It has some instances in lighting going on that even games today don't even have, you know, ladies and gentlemen. Or at least, I don't notice games have anyway. They probably all do. I mean, lighting's gone to a point now where light's such a non-issue, but you know, I digress. With that is it for this part, so thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people, and I'll catch you all next time.